So Shadow,
Yeah.
tell me that story about your poster that you were making in art class.
You want to hear it again, Tuh?
Yeah,
Why?
just tell me it.
I guess. Okay, basically, Todd, what happened is that my teacher one day was like, "Hey class, we're gonna make these awesome posters. I need to hear your ideas of what you're gonna do them on, and cause I need to, agree to them, or else, or else you can't do it." So, so, she's like, "Okay, so class, so what are you gonna do?" And like one person's like, "Well, I'm gonna do, uh, you know, I'm gonna do a, poster of everybody pointing to one person, symbolizing, something." And then she's like, "Oh, that's very good, that's very good. Okay, Chris, what are you gonna do?" He's like, keeping in mind that, the same, day we were talking about homicidal penguins running around killing people for no reason. He's like sitting there a little bit. He's like, "You know what? I'm gonna do genociding penguins. Like, not like genocidal penguins. Like, as in genociding, people." And she's like, "Oh, that's a pretty good idea, pretty good idea. I see how it is. It's just penguins getting back at the poachers, right?" Obviously not understanding that he said genociding human, penguins as in genociding humans, meaning not only poachers, dumbass. Anyways, so then she's like, "That's a pretty good idea, pretty good idea. I agree with that." And then she's like, "Hey, so William, what are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, keeping in mind that the same day we were talking about, a zombie apocalypse and, how we go to Costco and shit to, you know, defeat these zombies and all, stake out, all that stuff." And then, so I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it on a zombie apocalypse. I can, and then she goes, no, seriously." I'm like, I'm sitting there like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it on zombies." She says, "No, no, you can't do zombies. You know, that's just stupid." I'm like, "Wait a minute. So you're telling me that, my idea is stupid, but Penguin Boy over there is a genius?" And then, of course, the entire thing of, "Well, I can't do zombies anymore. You know what? I'm gonna teach my, or I'll show her. I'll make the best, most symbolic painting or, board in the entire history of history." And yeah, so I have this board. I made this board, thinking like, at the same time, having gone through the entire week of class talking about like Edgar Allan Poe and, you know, Leonardo da Vinci and their like, emo eras. So I was like, "You know what? That's pretty good. That's the best symbolic thing I can think of right now is, life written in, blood, like smeared on the wall, and then death in huge golden letters on a pure black board that's supposed to symbolize like a wall that somebody's dying next to, and have like handprints on next to life coming down with red blood." I was like, "Ah, looks amazing, symbolic as hell, It's obviously saying that, it's obviously saying something like when you die, you go someplace great, right?" Apparently, the teacher's like, "Oh, he's, he gets all freaking out about it. And he's like, 'Oh my God, William, you're emo.'" I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You're suicidal, I can tell. You're gonna reach for the gun or a knife or something. Somebody stop him." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not emo," or something like that. And at the same time, Chris is sitting there in the background, and he's not even doing genocidal penguins for his board anymore. He's doing fucking a nuclear bomb explosion out of confetti. And that's my death board. Yep.
What about the investigation you found?
Which one?
The investigation, you know how like you started reading the reports that you had to send home to your parents?
Oh yeah, you're talking about how like during that entire like 2 weeks, so since then they've been secretly talking teachers, telling them, descriptions of me and how I, I'm emo and stuff like that, and describing my, stuff like that, describing my emotions and things, and like what, and my characteristic, and an envelope to my parents, giving them a, copy of what is being sent to my teachers. Up one day and like, me, Caleb, and Chris are sitting there, being bored of our minds, and then, I look at my envelope and I decide, I'm fucking bored, I'm gonna read what this says. So I open it up and I start reading it a little bit. Caleb's reading it too, since he's sitting next to me. He's reading that said like, like it said that I'm slightly round. Like, what the hell? I'm slightly round. What am I? I'm slightly fat. He's slightly round, slightly. Going with the fact that I'm emo. How apparently I have no friends, even though Caleb and Chris are sitting there. I have no friends. I'm not very social. I'm obviously the kid that's sitting there in the corner of the room planning and how he's gonna kill himself every day apparently. The teachers need to try, get me to work with teams more often and stuff like that. Try to get me to grow, get friends and stuff like that. I'm like, I have friends, damn it. Things like that, talking about how emo I am. Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
Oh, I'm sorry you went through that terrible hardship.
Think so.